I just love that feeling. That feeling is why I lift. For advice for new people, I want to say, today I wanted to talk about a newish hobby that I have, which is weightlifting. Specifically Olympic weightlifting, but I'll cover all of the different types of weightlifting. And so I'm gonna talk about how I got started and what keeps me going, the different types of weightlifting, and then lastly, any advice I have for you newbies who I hope end up going to Olympic weightlifting gym after you listen to this video. Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Tech to Therapy, where I talk about my transition working in the tech industry and in startups and now becoming a mental health therapist. All right, so to begin, I'm gonna give some context on my childhood. I'm such a therapist. Okay, so when I was a child, I played a lot of sports. I liked being physically active. In high school, this is so cringy now thinking about it, but I said my tennis racket was my first boyfriend because I was so obsessed with playing tennis. I played it all the time. I didn't mean it in a sexual way. I don't even know why I said that, but I just like joked around with my friends. Okay, I'm explaining myself. So basically, I love playing sports, and because I played so many sports, I just built more muscle. Also, thank you to the white side of my genes, I just easily gained more muscle. And so I felt a little like uncomfortable with that muscle and also proud of like being strong. So that was like kind of a little bit about my childhood and like high school area. Then when I went to college, I studied abroad. And you know, when you study abroad, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try new things. I'm a new person. So I wanted to join a different like sports club. I saw weightlifting. I was like, okay, this sounds cool. So I tried weightlifting for a couple weeks and I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I made a few friends. So I shared a platform with a couple of my friends when I was in the weightlifting club. And so honestly, I did it for the social reason. I don't think I even knew like psychologically what this sport did to me, which I will talk about later. So I just like did it because it was kind of fun. And at that time, like it wasn't common for women to like build muscle. Or I reached out to Instagram. I found Noelle Arevalo, Ashley Nacera, Heidi Summers. I can't say these people's names because I followed them on Instagram, never heard their name. So these were the people I followed back then as inspiration and just like validation and reassurance that it's okay to be a woman and have a lot of thick muscle. Like it's okay. At that time in college, just, you know, discovering myself as we all do in those early 20s years. And so I think that helped me open into that area. And yeah, those people were really inspiring to me at that time. I don't follow them now. And then I didn't continue after that because I wasn't abroad anymore, and then all of my weightlifting friends were not there, and I just didn't feel like doing it alone. It was only as an adult, pre-COVID, I joined another gym and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, see how it goes. And I did it for a couple months and then COVID hit, and now here we are, going back to a different gym to see if I want to get back into weightlifting. And it's been about a year and I'm still doing it. So yeah, I guess I have a new hobby. That's kind of my background with how I got into weightlifting. So over the course of like 10 years, I've tried and I've stopped like 3 times. Why I like weightlifting. Okay, the biggest reason why I like weightlifting is because how empowering it is for me to be able to move heavy ass weights. There's nothing else that is similar for me to like the feeling of lifting heavy weights, especially above my head. Oh my gosh, like that is something that just like, I just feel so strong physically, mentally when I do this sport that I just haven't gotten in other sports. I've played tennis, basketball, rowing, track and field. All of those are more like cardio heavy, more teamwork based a little bit. They're just very different from Olympic lifting. I love it. This is my section of my life where I can be like, I am strong, and like really get into that vibe and into that mode. Like I just don't have as many sections of my life that are like that. And you know, maybe it's because I'm a therapist now and I'm just like fluffy and squishy in so many ways. And then I'm like at the gym lifting heavy weights and I'm like, yeah, this is me too. So maybe it could be all of those things, but I really recommend women or people who identify as femme, go lift some heavy weights and just reflect on how that feels, because it's probably gonna feel really different. and I will talk about the uncomfortableness and the imposter syndrome that may come with that. I'll talk about that later. But you know, you're probably gonna feel some type of way after you lift those weights, and I just love that feeling. That feeling is why I lift. Okay, and then I wanted to talk about the different types of lifting. So when I say Olympic weightlifting, there are only two moves in Olympic weightlifting. It's the clean and jerk and the snatch. That's it. And everything else is supplementary. So I can do a squat, I can do deadlifts, I can do all of those things, but it's ultimately to help me with my clean and jerk and snatch. So that's Olympic weightlifting. There's powerlifting, which is the deadlift, squat, and bench press. Those are the three moves in powerlifting. So again, similar to Olympic weightlifting, you do other supplementary exercises, but it's only to help with those moves. The biggest difference between Olympic weightlifting and powerlifting is powerlifting, the moves are a lot shorter. Like squat, you bend down and bend back up. Deadlift, arm out, arm back. I'm not trying to shit on this sport. I'm just saying that because there are shorter movements, you can lift a lot heavier than Olympic weightlifting. So you'll see a lot of weight with powerlifting there. That's probably where that name comes from. With Olympic weightlifting, the sport is a lot more technical because there's a lot more movement to it than powerlifting. The third one I want to talk about is bodybuilding, which is all about the aesthetics of your muscle on your body. And so there aren't specific moves that you like do when you compete. You don't go in front of an audience and like do moves. You go up there to show your muscle. And so that is like a whole different thing. And there's like food tied to it because you got to get rid of that body fat. There's I don't know much about it because I've never done it, but that is a whole different thing. And then there's just like circuit training. I don't really know what to call the basic things that you do at the gym. I'm just going to call that circuit training, where you just like do different moves that you want to just to be able to strength train. And I guess that's weightlifting. And I feel like when I say I weightlift, people think I do that. And I'm like, no. I don't actually know how all these machines work, because I really like to just use the barbell. Those are different types of lifting. Honestly, I don't know if I would have tried Olympic weightlifting if I would have sought it out if I didn't know how that felt in my body. Like, it just like looks really weird when I look at those lifts. And I think it's only when I try it that I'm like, oh, this actually like feels fun. So I would recommend it. That is my jam. And for advice for new people, I want to say it's gonna be intimidating, uncomfortable, and just awkward. And that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. It makes so much sense in this male-dominated hobby that you're gonna feel this way. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Hashtag patriarchy, hate you. And so, you know, I would say I acknowledge the societal reasons why I'm gonna just feel uncomfortable when I like go to the gym and it's filled with men and I'm the only woman and I'm just trying to learn how to do these moves. It's really intimidating. I also want to take care of myself, and just progress isn't gonna be linear. Sometimes you're gonna take a few steps back, and it's okay. I went to 3 different weightlifting gyms and I still have trouble going to the commercial gym around the corner and asking that dude how much longer he's gonna be on the platform. It's just has been labeled to me as like a man's world, and I feel very not a part of it. Surprisingly though, when I go to Olympic weightlifting classes, like gyms that are specific to Olympic weightlifting, most of the classes, they're women. Like, I don't know what it is, like, but there's a lot of women there, and I love that because it's very different, I would say. So I just find it more comfortable when I'm just like literally starting off and I don't know anything about these moves. They feel really awkward to lift a lot of weight and like have your shoulders back like that. It's just like feels really weird. So I really liked having that class and not worrying about like, oh my gosh, what are the other people at the gym thinking I'm doing? Oh my gosh, am I gonna hurt myself? It's been great to be able to go to the class. Also, the barbell just the barbell itself can be too heavy to start learning. And usually in these classes, they have lighter barbells of like different weights, which have been so helpful in the beginning, where I'm like, I can't even lift the barbell. Like, how am I supposed to learn this? So I would highly recommend going to a class first. I haven't done powerlifting and bodybuilding. Honestly, I would watch other YouTubers to see like what their advice is. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTube content on, I feel like, bodybuilding and powerlifting, but not as much Olympic weightlifting, which is why I'm here, to shed some rainbows into that corner of YouTube. Yeah, I hope you like this video. And if you go to Olympic lifting gym for the first time, or you go to the gym and you just like do some heavy weights, or you are already doing these lifts, oh my gosh, comment below, because I would love to know that these people exist out there outside of this little gym that I go to. Okay, bye.